Dr. Doreen Granpeesheh is the
Dr. Doreen is an expert in autism.
Doreen Granpeesheh.
Dr. Granpeesheh.
Dr. Doreen Granpeesheh.
Dr. Doreen Granpeesheh is a visionary in the field of autism. Now you can ask her questions on Ask Dr. Doreen. Hey, I love this next question. We have a young adult on the spectrum who says, hey, Dr. Doreen Granpeesheh, quick question. How can you, as a person on the spectrum, handle change? Change makes me anger easily. The breakup of Daft Punk almost made me go into a complete meltdown. What should I do? I so appreciate you sharing that with us and asking that question. Thank you so much. Dr. Granpeesheh?
I love that. And can I just, Shannon, I couldn't hear you. The breakup of what?
Daft Punk. The group Daft Punk announced this week that they're breaking up. Yeah.
So, and I love more than anything when we have individuals on the spectrum calling in and writing in, because this is wonderful. And we learn from you just as, we help you figure things out, but we're also learning from you. So let me just talk about change for a little bit. And this is not just for you, it's for everyone, right? Not just individuals on the spectrum. In general, change produces anxiety. That is the very first thing about change. It doesn't matter what kind of change it is, it produces anxiety. Why? The reason it produces anxiety is that it is unfamiliar, right? So we no longer, when something changes, we no longer know where things are going. It causes us to feel uncertain about things. It makes us feel shaky because everything seems unfamiliar from that point forward. Now, if you understand that, and if you start to try to do a number of different things, which is, deal with the anxiety, and don't worry about the change. The reason you're angry is because there's a certain amount of anxiety there about this particular thing changing. Maybe it was a very calming thing for you. Maybe it was something that made you feel comfortable, familiar, safe, happy. And now you're worried, you're anxious that you will no longer have those feelings or have the ability to feel good. So you got to deal with the core root of the anxiety, not the change, because if there's one thing in life that's certain, Shannon, it is change is going to happen.
That's right.
So we have to get to the point where we realize that every time something changes, it causes anxiety. What is really causing my anxiety? And can I deal with the anxiety itself? So, for example, in this particular case, maybe the individual feels like, oh, I'm never going to have that level of, happiness or comfort that I used to have when I was listening to this group, right? So what happens now is you have to think of different ways to reduce the anxiety. The change is just there. You have to think of ways you can calm yourself with the anxiety. Does that make sense, Shannon?
It makes total sense. And I'm sending this person a hug because I think that a lot of people have these feelings about different things. And I remember being a young person and being turned on to Simon and Garfunkel. And they had already broken up by the time I listened to their first album, but I just loved Simon and Garfunkel. And I thought, this is the most amazing thing. And I can't wait to hear more from Simon and Garfunkel. And I'm going to go to their concerts. And then somebody said, they've already broken up. And for 3 days, I was in mourning over it. I was 17 years old and I was crying. I was like, well, how can there be no more of this? And yet I'm here to tell you, I'm 58 years old. I've been to see Simon and Garfunkel twice in concert, even though they were never, ever, ever going to get back together. They have shortly, right after I was crying about it, they cut a record with my other favorite, James Taylor. You will see that, sometimes things that are supposedly black and white definitive, we're breaking up, aren't necessarily, wait 10 years, there might be more Daft Punk. I know that doesn't help you now, but, I look back on that and I go, with age, I have gotten to see that, things part of change is that things can change in a good way too.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
things that you lose can come back in lots of different ways. I love
Absolutely.
a friend of mine said, you know, the whole thing of nature is that nothing is ever in stasis. Everything is constantly changing. Like
That's right.
even a flower, you know, it's a seed and then it's a flower and then the flower dies. Everything is always changing. And she said the thing is that human beings are the only part of nature that are constantly upset about it and striving for stasis. That
Yeah.
we constantly want to keep things the same, and they won't ever be the same. It's hard.
That's right. And I feel, I mean, I will say, I'll share some stuff with the viewers. So I used to be a complete, massive, one of the biggest fans of Genesis, right? And when I was in my first year at university, I went everywhere I could, and I saw probably, I don't know, 20 different Genesis concerts back to back in 1 year, right? And of course, that went on. I went to every single concert every year. I did that for a long, long, long time until sometime in the 90s, if I remember, or maybe even maybe it was in the 2000s. I mean, I would travel to Europe, Shannon, to see their concerts, right? And so finally it became their last year and they stopped. And I was anxious. I was depressed. I was angry. I couldn't believe that this incredible band that I loved for so many years, that their music brought me so much joy, was no longer going to happen, right? So what did I do? I went and I bought like 5 CD sets and DVD sets, and I kept them with me. And I was like, I'm always going to listen to this music and so on. And I was still angry, just like this viewer is. Then I suddenly got introduced through my husband to another band, because now I kind of didn't have the ability to just listen to new songs by Genesis. I had the old songs, which were incredible, and I always enjoyed them. But now I also had this new band, which was slightly different, but in so many ways also fantastic. And of course, now I'm fortunate that I can also travel with him and occasionally see that band. So change has its downside, but as Shannon said, it always, sometimes you even, it's through, if you resisted all change, you would never experience something better. So sometimes what you're going to experience in change is even something that you like more. So allow the universe, allow the world to bring you these new things, because you will enjoy them as well.
Absolutely. Thanks for watching Autism Live. If you found anything helpful in this video, please give us a like. In fact, make sure that you smash that subscribe button on YouTube and give us a like on Facebook. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram for important updates. And please download our free podcast wherever you get your podcasts. See you next time. Until then, give your kiddos a hug from me and one for you too. Bye-bye for now.
To subscribe, click here. And if you'd like to check out some more of our videos, click here.